right, just for another walk around for one of my overlanding cars here. This here is a 2001 GMC Jimmy, and as you can see from that emblem and right next to Jimmy, this is an Envoy model, which is top of the line, tippity top, tippity tip top, top of the trim line. This is called a Jimmy Envoy, and this specific trim right here, this model right here, is a Diamond Edition, which is what General Motors came up with to celebrate the 75th anniversary of the GMC truck division, the Diamond Envoy. The Diamond Edition has that plastic trim on the bottom that signifies it's a Diamond Edition. It also has a special interior, diamond stitch pattern on the leather seats. You see that? I don't want to open it up, so you know, diamond stitch pattern on the leather seats. Uh, it's got, it had specific wheels for this trim model, which I took off and sold because, scrap metal prices were high and I got a lot of money for those wheels. So I put these American racing wheel, these black, what do they call them? D wheels? Yeah, because they have the D shape in them. So the American racing wheel D wheel, I put those in them on this thing. Caught a flat tire when I was in Pennsylvania, so I had to put the spare on. Got this spare from the junkyard and it had never been mounted, so I got to have that tire. The tire's in the back seat. I just got to have them break down that wheel and take it off. And I got another wheel that was in the Suburban. I've got a 15-inch wheel back there. 2001. This is a GMT 365, I believe it is. The Diamond Edition. Where is it different from the regular Chevy Blazer? This third mounted, this third brake light here. This what do they call it? The center high mounted stop light, whatever it is. It's got a special word for it, a chismel or something like that. But either way, the third brake light here, this is xenon, which means you can't get parts for it. That's what it means. So that's the special thing about that right there. I mean, they didn't use neon, they didn't use LED, they used xenon bulbs or something like this for this whole setup. And now no one can get parts for it because they don't make any. And that's that. This one came with a trailer hitch, which is good. I never use it to tow anything, but it comes with a trailer hitch. All right, let me see if I could do this walk around faster than the last one because that one was like 27 minutes. But anyway, so got this car, bought it on my birthday, 2015. There's a guy in the Bronx. He had the car behind his house. Uh, Never seen a Diamond Edition before, but like I said, I had showed the video of the Bravada, and so these things are relatively easy. It's just like the GMT 400. It's a relatively simple car. Once you get it all figured out, it's so easy. Here we have the 4.3. This is a Vortec V6, you know, but it's the same as the 350. All the parts, they're pretty much interchangeable. I mean, the only difference here is this one is a Vortec. Now, if that one was a Vortec, then all this, the alternator, the compressor, all that stuff would be interchangeable. I could take it right off this car and put it on that car if they were both Vortec series. But not being Vortec, you know. But even still, generally speaking, the block itself, they use the same bolts, use the same part number for the water pump. They're using the same part number for the belt, things like that. I took the battery out because it has to get charged because it's been sitting for a while. Most of these cars have been sitting for a while because with Corona, I just haven't had any reason to go any place. They want you to stay in the house. Got webs and everything like that. Probably spiders, dust mites, or something. But so what have I done in this car? What have I done? Like I said, this car is just like the Suburban. When you go to the junkyard, it's an American car, basically a light truck. So when you get to the junkyard, you can find a buttload of parts for this thing. And they're all inexpensive. And that's the reason why I'm advocating you guys pick these kind of cars for, for your overlanding rig, or if you want to make a hot rod and you can't afford an A-body Mopar, or you can't afford a G-body General Motors car. I mean, You're still getting rear-wheel drive basically once you remove the transfer case and front differential, unless you have one that is already two-wheel drive. But you're still getting rear-wheel drive and things that you can do with it. This car, when I first got it, I drove it for a month, and then the weather started to get cold, and I had to put a heater core in it, and that is murder in this car. You know, you've got to take out so many screws, and the worst part about it is the difference between this generation, which is post 96, actually 99 up. From 99 up, it differs from the 96 to 99 model because they redesigned the entire dashboard, where in the previous one, in the 1992 to 95 and then the 96 to 99, heater core was over here, right behind the glove box. Remove the glove box, and you got access to the heater core. They moved it over on this redesign, so now the heater core, if you can't see, but you can get an idea, it's pretty much right behind the radio, which means you have to take apart the entire dashboard and pull it off the firewall, which is a pain in itself because there's so many screws, and it's not even the screws that bother you. It's the fact that they use such thin plastic when they molded the dashboard that you're guaranteed to crack something, and I did. You cracked the dashboard, you cracked a lot of the material behind it, you cracked not the steering column, but you cracked the gear shifter. You're doing all of this just to get that heater core out, and on the upside is I now have heat. Got heat. There you go. What else have I done in this car? Like I said, relatively simple, man. So on the engine compartment, just change the belt. Like I said, on a General Motors, on a Chevy engine, you're going to develop an intake manifold leak. So, you know, I've got enough experience replacing these things. Like I said, if you get enough of these General Motors engines in here and that kind of RTV that they use at assembly, it's not going to last. Well, it'll last up to 100,000 miles. And after 100,000 miles, you're just done for. So, yeah, did the intake, manifold gasket, valve cover gaskets. Um, let's see, it was a camshaft position sensor back there under the distributor, oil pressure switch. You know, see, relatively easy in this car. There's nothing I really had to do. Oh, like I said on the other one, when you have to do these brake lines, now mind you, when I'm telling you to replace all the brake lines at once, that is not a decision that I made. That was a decision that was made for me. I had this car, 2018. I'm upstate in Albany, in the town of Bethlehem. I am on New York State Road 85. This is in November, I believe, November 2018. And it had snowed sometime that week, earlier in that week. So there was still some snow on the ground, some slush. Maybe there was, maybe there wasn't. Can't remember. But I definitely remember the guy in front of me was in a Jeep Cherokee and he stopped short. Right? When you're on New York Road 85, New York State Road 85 in Bethlehem, you come upon a traffic circle at some point during that road. I can't remember where, but somewhere in there, you come upon a traffic circle. Okay? The guy in front of me stopped short. I hit the brakes. I blew out the brake line. I blew out the front brake line and rear brake line. So I had no brakes. Now, he was able to move, so I was able to coast through that traffic circle. But as I come through on the upswing, there's a tractor trailer behind me. I did not know there was a truck road, but apparently it is. It is a truck road. So the guy behind me, I got to turn on my flashers because I have no brakes. So then I'm coming up the road there. I'm trying to keep the truck at speed because I really don't want to pull over. Well, I can pull over, but I just can't stop. So I pull a car down the road. There's an exit marked Crumbkill Road. So I take the Crumbkill Road exit. I still have no brakes. So if you've been on this road before, you know the Crumbkill Road exit has a curve to it. And then when you get to the Crumbkill Road, at the end of the exit ramp, that road has itself a curve to it. So you coming out off the State Highway 85, and it's got like a half circle, so that's like a 180 or something like that. And then Crumbkill Road has a curve to it itself, so that's probably like, I don't know, let's say like a 90 degree, but not really a 90 degree, probably like an 85-degree turn to it. And I'm doing that, and it was a car coming, and I barely missed that car by probably one car length because I had no way to stop. So that car comes and it runs, and I come right behind that car, and I'm like, oh geez, now I'm on city streets and I got to get this car to a stop. Now there's a cul-de-sac, which is the first right turn, and I'm only doing about at this point probably 20 20 miles an hour, 25 miles an hour. Yeah, probably 20, because when you come off the exit ramp, it was at an incline, so the vehicle was able to slow down. So I come off the exit ramp on an incline. Great. I come off the exit ramp on an incline, and I pull into the cul-de-sac. Now, I still got to find a way to get this vehicle to stop. So what I do is I see there's a tree trunk, so I drive the car off the pavement onto the dirt, and I aim for the tree trunk. So I'll hit the tree trunk, and the car comes to a stop, which is great, but I'm facing the wrong direction. So now I got to turn the car around so I can call a tow service and have me towed back to my mother's house, which was also up there, but I'm having myself towed back to my mother's house, so the car, so I can fix the car in the driveway. And so I bring that up because, that's what I'm saying. You see, all of these brake lines have been replaced. And when you get these brake lines in this ABS system, it's very hard because the ABS system and the master cylinder system, they use two different brake fittings. So I had to find adapters. And there's a company called American Brass Fitting or something like that. American Brass Gauge or something like that, Uh, I think American Brass Fitting. And they make those fittings. Excuse me. They make those fittings that you can adapt your stainless steel lines to your ABS connector. Now on this vehicle, I disconnected the ABS because it's a pain in the ass. You need there's a scan tool that you have to use to reverse activate the ABS to suck all the air out. Because if you don't do that, once you do a brake job, you will always have a soft pedal in a General Motors car, right? If you don't have that scan tool to activate the ABS module, because you have to run it in reverse, so it'll purge all the air out of the system. So what I did was just bypass it, because for those of you who have been driving cars before ABS, it is not needed. For you young people, you might need it because you never have experienced anything else besides that. Uh, what else have I done in this thing? Oh, cap and rotor. Unlike the Oldsmobile, I've never had a problem with injectors on this one, but I did buy extra injector sets. See, this is the fuel rail right here. Fuel rail goes here. This is the injector power unit, right here. You get the injector power, and then below that, we have your poppets. You got your spider valves, your poppet valves. Let me see what else. This car. I did the exhaust system. You're looking at my little bottle here. I use this bottle because when you're on the road and you got to add oil, you know, it fits right on the thing without spilling it on the motor block and getting it on the exhaust manifold. What else on this thing? Yeah, this thing's been relatively simple so far. You know, I'm an advocate for the 4.3 liter the V6 Vortec. I mean, it produces a lot of power for its size. Not very fuel efficient though, but if I were to do a resto mod in a much older car, like say a car from the 70s or a car from the 60s, and it was like a large car, because I like the large cars as referred to the sports cars. I don't really care that much about Camaros and Corvettes and Firebirds, but I like Caprices and Impalas, Monte Carlos and stuff like that. And if there's somebody had given me a car and it didn't have a block in it, I would definitely put a 4.3 in there because it's enough torque to move the car. Is it going to run up and down the street on a track? No, it won't do that, but you can also put this thing in the car and you can drive it to Texas as a very reliable car, and if you ever needed parts, you can just walk in anywhere and get them. What have I done in this thing here? Exhaust system. I did an exhaust system all the way from the cat back, right? The cat back is about a brand new exhaust system. Hub bearings, I did hub bearings on these. Oh, if you're gonna do a brake job on this car, the left rear and the right rear brake caliper are the same. The only difference is the position of the bleeder screw. So if you go to a store and they tell you they have it in stock and you get it and it's the wrong side and you really need to complete the job, you can do it. You're just gonna have to invert the caliper as you bleed the brakes. Other than that, they are the same thing. And I'm only bringing that to your attention because I've ordered parts from Pep Boys 3 times. And every time I ordered the caliper that I wanted, they sent me the one for the other side. They sent me the wrong one. And if I ever plan on finishing the job, I've got to actually just put the thing on there. So I did it. I put the left caliper on the right side and just finished the job. All right. On the front, this car, if you remember from the Oldsmobile video, I said I took the headlights out of that car to put them in this car so I can get it to pass inspection. Because I went to go get an inspection, and then I was doing a pre-test on myself on the street, and then this headlight over here didn't work. But being that it's a Diamond Edition Jimmy Envoy, it didn't have regular halogen headlights. You know, H7 bulbs or H4 bulbs. What it had was HID bulbs. Now, for those of you that know, HID uses a ballast resistor, and the ballast resistor can be very expensive when you have to replace them. And I didn't even want to bother looking because I figured $100 for a ballast resistor. I'll just skip that and do what I need to do to get the car to pass inspection. And being that I had the Oldsmobile, and it's basically essentially the same, minus the grill, basically. The whole car is the same minus the grill. So knowing that the headlights were the same, I swapped the headlights over, and then what I had to do was I had to route up in here from the back here. It is, once you pull it out, the headlight wiring harness comes up under the grill or so. I had to go to before where the balance resistor was mounted just to get access to the regular assembly line headlight harness. And then from there, like I said, you know, I just fabricated some wires, positive and negative, for the low beam and the high beam, and then I was able to have functional headlights to pass inspection. So apparently this one's got some moisture and condensation in it. Once I turn it on and the bulb gets hot, all that'll evaporate. The car came with cladding for the push bar. That cladding was missing when I got it, so I'm assuming the guy hit something. But you gotta look. I mean, you look at it though. It's all rickety plastic. It's all rickety plastic, covered in steel. It's some good welds though, some very good welds. I mean, and so it bolts to the steel beam behind the bumper. So, and it also came with its own type of headlight system. I mean, not headlight, these fog lamps. But I took those off because I just thought, one, they were broken, and two, see, they were all covered in plastic and everything. So I just used the mounting spaces. I got these off of eBay. These LED ones. These are pretty nice, you know. And then, I use these when you go upstate. I mean, you could run right off of these in the middle of the night, and you can see very good. It'd be 2 o'clock in the morning, and you're running up I-87, and they illuminate very well. Tow hooks, let's see. Yeah, I mean, I really haven't done anything. Oh, I had to deactivate the anti-theft because I couldn't figure it out. I mean, he wired it into the fuel system and wired it into the starter system. I just ripped up, deactivated what I could find. There's still something in there. There's a starter interrupt, but I haven't had a problem with it yet. So let's hope I never have a problem with that. These wheels, see, these wheels there, like I said, I put the ARE D wheels on it. Don't like it because the offset for this car is not the same in the front as it is in the rear. So these wheels are 15 by 8, and apparently this car was only designed for 15 by 7. So you know, what are you gonna do? Anyway, on the inside, you know, it's got a Bose stereo with the amplifier and all of that, and then that's a factory radio. And like I said, it's a diamond edition, so it means top of the line. Uh, it does have a, can you see it? Factory sunroof that came with it. Um, Leather seats, pretty much it. I mean, I got this car from the guy. Oh, when I went to go get it, the radiator was empty. That's how I know the intake needed to be replaced because his radiator was empty. Well, not wholly empty, but you know, you just couldn't see the coolant. So I said, how much you want for the car? And I gave the guy $800 for the car. $800. This is why I'm telling you, you gotta take advantage of these, you know, these junior size Jimmys and Chevrolet Blazers. You're getting a lot of car, easy to fix, a lot of parts availability. It doesn't cost you anything to get the car, you know? I mean, the Oldsmobile, what did I pay for the Oldsmobile? Same thing. I gave that guy $700 for that car. Same car, you know? That Chevrolet that I gave to my brother, what did I get? I didn't even pay for that. My neighbor gave it to me. He was like, if you can get it to run, you can have it. So, got the car to run, and I didn't really want it on the street because, you know, I mean, the woman he had let the woman use the car, and then I guess you know he stopped talking to the woman, and he wanted the car back or whatever, something. But either way, I figured, look, let me get this car out of here, so you know, get it someplace where nobody's ever seen this thing, so you got to worry about any vandals come by because she's a scorned woman or whatever. Oh, you broke my heart, Willie. Willie, I hate you. I'm going to kill you. And she see the car that you gave her. And then the next thing I go out there and the car burnt up in flames or something like that. So anyway, look, GMT 365. Available as a Chevy Blazer, GMC Jimmy, Oldsmobile Bravada, Chevy S10, GMC S15 Sonoma. The car is available in multiple different body styles. You got your four-door wagon this here. You got a two-door wagon, which is the two-door Blazer. You got the pickup truck. You got the four-door pick. That's what I want, the four-door pickup, you know. And I was prepared to get it until, you know, used car prices just ran. They just jumped off a cliff. And then now everybody wants $1 million for a big, you know, for a piece of junk. So, but yeah, that's what I want next. I want the same thing, but I want the four-door crew cab pickup. So, you know, if you know one, let me know. Drop a line in the comments. If not, then, you know, you can eat one. So, anyway, you get one of these, $600, $700, $800. You can make this an absolutely great off-road vehicle. You know, wouldn't cost you anything to do any slight modifications. You could take out the transfer case. You can make this a track car, run a quarter mile in it. You know, it's got a lot of options, man. All right.